Hey guys, welcome to Punky's World. This is our daily genealogy video. This is another brick wall that I briefly mentioned in the Dr. Parmenas Dyer video. Because this is his daughter-in-law, Josephine Farrington Dyer, sometimes referred to as Emily Josephine, Josie E, Josephine Emily, Jassy in one of the censuses. I don't know. Censuses, sorry. I don't know which is correct, but I've looked her up as both. In every database freaking imaginable, and I come up with zip point fill in the blank. It's insane. I know, according to the 1900 census, she was born in April of 1865 in J. Supposedly she died in J, although there is no record. I do have a funeral home that unfortunately their phone number has been disconnected that did her husband's burial, and I'm thinking probably did hers. So I'm hoping to find a correct phone number for that funeral home. Anyway, it's the Conley Fahey Funeral Home in Lewiston, Maine. If you happen to know, please tell me in the comments. Because the phone number that I have is no longer in service. 782-8221. Something like that. I know it ends in 8221. So don't even give me that one because that one doesn't work. Her parents were Gilman Farrington, who died in 1885, and Abigail Ann Walton, who died in 1884. And they were both born in 1833. Now, I think I know what happened here, to some degree. And I'll get there when I get to her children. She had 5 siblings. Benjamin, born 1852. Mary Ann, born 1862. Now, there's a big gap there, and there has to be more kids. Isaac F., born 1867. Rose Alberta, she went by Alberta. Born 1871. Celia, born 1882. She married Frank Dyer in 1883 and had 5 children. Now here's the part. Yeah, I looked her up everywhere. She's not even in Find a Grave, for gosh sake. Or the main state databases. I mean, it's insane, man. I will link her profile in my ancestry tree to the links in the description for you. Now, she had Maud Josephine, who was born the same year she married, 1883. Now, it is possible she was forced to marry because she was in a family way. That seems likely. The only way that didn't happen is say she got married in January and had a baby in December. Or something along those lines. But otherwise, this was a shotgun wedding. Then she had Aunt Clarabelle in 1887. Then she had Aunt Vera in 1890. And great-grandma Hazel Estella in 1895. Okay, Hazel and Maud married brothers. My great-grandfather, Edson Cox, and his brother, Bertram Cox. Okay, they were living in Livermore Falls at that time, so it's possible her death record is in Livermore Falls. She is said to have died when her youngest child, my great-grandmother, was about 5 years old. Well, most people have her dying in 1901, which would make Grandma 6 years old, but she was little. Grandma thought that she picked her up to show her the pretty flowers outside, so that made it spring, and just died. Now, I don't know where this comes from, but she supposedly died of Bright's disease, which is a kidney disease. It's sometimes associated with alcohol. Let me get an exact Brightsdisese. They do not call it that anymore, by the way. Yeah, Bright's disease. It's now known as acute glomerular nephritis, or nephritis, which is inflammation of the nephrons. The nephrons are the part of the kidney that actually does the work. Okay. Bright's disease. It's a historical classification. Ew, that kidney doesn't look healthy. Okay. Okay. It was treated with bloodletting. Ew. Squill, I don't know what that is. Digitalis, that's freaking heart medicine. Mercuric compounds of mercury, that's poison. Opium, oh boy. Well, that might have taken care of the pain you were in. Diuretics and laxatives. Okay, I understand diuretics kind of make you go pee. That's what a diuretic is. But laxatives? Why do you want to go poop when your problem's in your other area? And dietary therapy, including abstinence from alcohol, cheese, red meat. So I'm not even gonna go over the names of the people who had it, but yeah, it's called nephritis now. It was associated with the overuse of alcohol back in the day. I don't know if that was how much of a factor it really was, but I know if you read the history of Jack the Ripper, I guess you're not supposed to say that on YouTube, but oh well. One of the victims, I can't remember her name, had Bright's disease on autopsy. And these victims, for the most part, were ladies of the evening, shall we say. And it was said that she was an alcoholic. And thus, this is why she had Bright's disease, supposedly. That does not mean that my great-great-grandmother was an alcoholic in any way. It just means that that's how they felt back then. I mean, I know alcohol's not good for most of your organs, particularly your liver, because most of the bad stuff is filtered out by your, from the alcohol is filtered out by your liver, and that's why it damages it. But so I don't know how much is actually getting into your kidneys. I know some of it is, obviously, because the liver sends whatever it's done with to your kidneys. They sort of work, think of it as wrestling. The liver and the kidneys work as tag team partners. Now, her husband, Frank Dyer, died in 1918, so a few years after she died. Frank died of appendicitis with an abscess, with sepsis. Okay, basically this means he was septic, so the infection spread throughout his body. And an abscess means he had a ball of infection, and I believe it said it burst, which is what turned him septic. or maybe the appendix burst, or maybe both, like the appendix was abscessed and burst. I think that's more likely. What happened? As I'm explaining it, I'm going, the handwriting wasn't terribly good on his death record. So that's why I'm stumbling with it a little bit. He, like I said, he died in 1918. They didn't have antibiotics or really good treatments back then for that. So he died. That must have been the most excruciating, horrible death. Unless they kept him hopped up on opium, I suppose. Now let me tell you a little bit about their children. I already told you that Maud and Hazel married brothers. Maud and Hazel were very close. The letters that I have are from Hazel to Maud. Eva married Axel Peterson. My mother knew these people, actually. Vera married, I know his name. Shoot. Hold on. Hold on, that's going to drive me to drink if I don't figure it out. No, not really, but tree. Hurry up. My tree. Aunt Vera. Willis Ayers. Willis Ayer. A-Y-E-R. It was going to drive me nuts because I know who it is and I couldn't think of it. Clarabelle is an interesting story. We actually have her full medical file from the Maine State Hospital at Augusta. This woman was medically ill, physically ill, not psychologically. If you read her records, it's very clear. She developed some psychological issues from being in a psychiatric facility for years, but that wasn't her problem when she went in. She did live with my great-grandmother for a while, and she also had lived with, I want to say, Aunt Eva. She was terrified of Aunt Eva's husband, Axel Peterson. We don't know why, but we know that's in the records. And we know her sisters went to visit her in the hospital because we have that record too. I have census records of her children, birth records of some of her children. I'm talking about these children. Maud, Eva, Clarabelle, Vera, Hazel. I have records of these people. But it's like Josephine didn't exist before she was married, except in one census with her parents. And she didn't seem to exist after she had children. It was like, okay, she's on the census, she's got kids, she got a couple of kids' birth records, but then she didn't exist again. It's weird. And like I said, the 1900 census calls her Jassy. But I think it probably said Josie, and it's possible that the person transcribing mistranscribed. That happens. Some sources say she died at the age of 36, as I mentioned, of Bright's disease. That would be around 1901. Now, like I said, my great-grandmother remembers her showing her the flowers and then just dropping. These were stories that my great-grandmother had told my grandmother. My great-grandmother also died young. Her first grandchild was a year old, and her second grandchild was due in 2 months. So, well, No, I take that back. She had other grandchildren from her older children, from her older son. His kids were already born. So, Uncle Frank's kids. But my grandmother had had her oldest, actually, she had had two, but one of them had been adopted. She had her oldest daughter that she kept, the one that she kept, that was the oldest of that family, and then she had one that was older, that was adopted. We found her, Aunt Susan. Then we, ironically, and I'll tell you why in a minute, then there was Aunt Barbara, who was a year old, and Aunt Edith was born in December of that year. So they're only 14 months apart. So she knew a grandbaby was coming. She had a grandbaby, plus she had 3 from Uncle Frank, who were already born. And this was in 1951. So I do know about these people. And actually, I think Maud and Hazel were the only ones that had kids. Now, why I was saying, ironically, about my mother's sister being Susan was because we found her, and she had been renamed Susan. She had been adopted by a Dyer relative, which would be a relative on great-grandma Hazel's side. Because great-grandma Hazel married a Cox, and like I said, so did our sister Maud. Excuse me. So turned out her name was Susan, and the irony is the fact that my sister's name is Susan. That I also found, she has not spoken with me since then. I'm not going to bother her. Her aunt is a wonderful lady. Hi, bonus Aunt Susie. I think she was named after her aunt. And I guess she's going to get a hold of her. She calls me Angel. She thinks I'm an angel. Little does she know. I couldn't resist it. I could not resist that. I say that jokingly, of course. I'm pretty excited to curl up with my DVDs and some food, because I still don't feel well. Oh, and some lemonade. So, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. That was a notification. And it was loud. Let's see if it was worth being loud. That's about a movie. And who will be headlining next year's Super Bowl halftime show. Who cares? Well, some people do, I suppose. But anyway, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by that very loud notification. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos, for supporting my channel. It means a lot, and I do appreciate it. Please like my videos. Please subscribe. Please make a comment. If you have any ideas about this mystery, let me know. I mean, as it was, I got comments on the last brick wall video that I did, which encouraged me to do another brick wall video. So, because I have a brick wall on both sides of my family. And in my mother's memory and honor, I will continue to work on the genealogy. And I will let you know on either brick wall if I find anything. Thank you again. I know I say it too many times, and I'm sorry. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope a delicious meal. I will see you next time in Punky's World, and remember, if you want to become a permanent member of Punky's World, just click subscribe. You don't need the bells. Use my social media, and that way you'll see when all my videos come out, and you can decide which ones you want to watch and what you're interested in, whether it's genealogy or vlogs or, I mean, it's all technically vlogs, but whether it's genealogy or wrestling or, what type of vlog you want to watch, or me actually going somewhere. You can decide that. Have a great day. I keep hitting the darn thing. Bye-bye.